Aloha and welcome to this WOD called Modal Dialog. This is a pretty simple WOD. I'm hoping it's going to be simple. And the idea is that we're going to create a modal dialog for our Surferpedia application. The current Surferpedia application, when you click the delete button, bang, you've just deleted that surfer, and you might really want to. Normally, with those kind of destructive modifications, you want to actually confirm that that's what the user wants to do. So, Twitter Bootstrap comes with really convenient modal dialog capabilities built in. So let's learn about it. You go to this page. Hopefully, you've done it already and read through. And basically, it's got a template class. I'm going to use that class pretty much directly. And then you have to have a link that actually triggers it. And you've got to add in an ID that's referenced in the trigger. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So I'm hoping that's all there is to it. So what we have to do is start the timer. And we're also going to do another little bit different thing. We're going to create a branch. That's pretty much normal. And we want to call this delete dialog. So create this branch, and now we're in it. And what we're going to actually do is we're just going to add a little space to this, and we're going to save it actually so it shows up here in GitHub. Okay, and we're going to make a commit message saying starting delete dialog WOD. And this is something that I'm going to try to have us do from now on, is to basically make a commit to say, okay, we're starting the WOD right now. And actually our commits are going to help us keep track of how long things take and what we did as we did them and so forth. Okay, so now in this branch we're going to, so now we've kind of done a commit that's just basically to kind of start the timer, as it were, in a GitHub way. Now we're going to go ahead and implement this modal dialog box, okay? And so what we've got to do that is essentially we're going to take this code and we're going to copy it, and we're just going to put it in to the container. So there it is, and maybe we'll try to see if we can format this. Source, format active elements. Okay, so that's a little better. And I'm going to get rid of these comments because we don't normally use those. So there's our modal dialog, and the modal title is, what did we decide? Really delete surfer. And the modal body will be this cannot be undone. I'm just going to copy what was there. And then there's going to be a cancel button. And then there's going to be the delete button. So what we're going to do for the delete button is essentially we're going to take this href right here, copy, and we're going to add that, and we're going to make this basically a link with the class, the button class, so that'll keep it looking like a button. And then we'll say delete. Okay, so now that should have a cancel button as well as this link, which is going to look like a button, which is going to say delete. Okay. Now the other thing that we want to do is we want to have, now we've got to make this link, which was formerly going to actually do the deletion. Okay, now we want it to bring up that modal dialog. And so we go back here and we notice that this is the code that you use to bring up one of these suckers. So let's just copy that. And maybe we'll put it in right above. Okay. And what we see is that we're hrefing the ID of the modal that we want. So let's call this thing delete dialog. And then down here, we're going to have an ID equals delete dialog. Okay? And so, delete dialog. Okay, and of course we don't want it to say launch demo model, we want it to say delete. And we do want it to be pulled right, so let's put, we don't want button large. We don't want any button, right? These just look like regular links. But we do want it to be pull right. Okay, so our class is the same as before. And I think we should be okay. So let's just get rid of that. Okay. And now, if we go to, let's go into our play, and we'll say clean, compile, run. And then if we go to waiting for the compile to finish. Okay, so it's finished. Now we go to localhost 9000. That starts off good. Let's go to Pauline. Okay, and then we do our delete. And then really delete. Let's try cancel first. Okay, that's good. Go back where we were. Now let's try delete. And now we're going to do delete. And she's gone. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna call that our testing. And so now we'll go back to this and we'll go play dist. Oops, we'll go dist because we're already in the play console. And now that we finished the dist, we can go exit, and then we can do our app deploy. Okay, delta false because we're hoping that prevents these silly problems on deployment that you noticed in my screencast. Deploying to my Surferpedia application at CloudBees, play 2, and this is the distribution. So we'll start this off. And it's uploading. It's deploying. And we're crossing our fingers, waiting for this down here to finish there. Okay, so we could go to this URL right here, but since I bought the domain name, I might as well use it, right? No one else is going to use it, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to use my custom domain name. It's taking me the same spot, so here we are. Well, let's try to delete Eddie this time, even though Eddie should never be deleted, but just for test purposes. So we'll delete the surfer. We could have made this cooler. We could have added the surfer name into it. That might be a nice little test. Really delete Eddie I Cow. You should be able to figure out how to do that pretty easily. But anyway, we'll go delete, and now Eddie's gone. Okay. Till the next time we deploy, and then he'll be back. All right. So what we have now, if we go here, we'll notice that we've made a change to Surfer Scala. Look through these changes. So we're going to say, going back to the, when you finish deploy, we've implemented the modal dialog, we've deployed our Surferpedia, finish delete dialog WOD, finish delete dialog WOD. And so we'll do commit and sync. Okay, and it's now done. So now if we actually go to view on GitHub, and find this thing, which is in here. Or actually what we can do is if we just look at our latest commit that's to master. So let's go back up to the top and select delete dialog. And we can now look at the latest commit to this branch, which is right here. And now I want you to notice that if you put the mouse over the time, which is now just now or 2 days ago or whatever, you'll see there's the exact timestamp, okay, which is 5:19:13, probably California time. Okay, and then if I go to the parent, I can see 8 minutes ago. Okay, so it was a roughly 8-minute WOD. You can see right now I'm at 9 minutes according to my timer. So this is one of the things we're going to start doing with our WODs, is using these commit timestamps to help us keep track of how long things are taking and what we actually did while we did it. Another beauty of GitHub. So we'll call this an 8-minute WOD. And now you know how to do modal dialogs. So that's pretty cool, yeah?